How you guys doing today? Mark Franks, Christian life coach. Guys, today I'm going to try to be quick. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. If I can just snag your time for about 8 minutes, hopefully I'll be done before that, but sometimes I tend to go over. Hopefully I'll just be done before that. Guys, today I was talking with the last couple of days I was talking with my Christian brothers, and we were talking about how important it is for a father to be in his home, how important it is for a father to be in his kids' lives. So that's kind of what my topic is today: the lack of fathers in homes, and how in the last 60 or 70 years in America, single family homes have increased, and it's just sad, and it's a tragedy if you really look at the stats. Today I will be going over a bunch of statistics about fatherlessness and fatherless homes. So let's see if we can come up with some type of solutions, and let's see what God has to say about it. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about, I want to just bring up all the statistics. So if you guys can bear with me for about 2 minutes while I read through these statistics, because we need to know what's going on. In order to evoke change, we have to know what's going on. And fathers not being in the house causes a lot of issues. Some of them that you probably wouldn't even think about. Some of them you probably need to think about because your father wasn't in the house. All right, so let's get into it. Bear with me for about 2 or 3 minutes. Let's go over these statistics, and then we'll move on. All right, let's go. So in the United States, 1 in 4 kids live without a father in the house. That's sad. That's sad. Kids without a father in the house, they're four times greater risk for poverty. They're 7 times more likely to become pregnant as teens. They're more likely to have behavioral issues. They're two times as greater risk of infant mortality. That's kind of eccentric, right? That's a little weird. I mean, something's wrong with that. So they're more likely to abuse drugs and alcohol, and they're more likely to go to prison. Kids with no fathers in the home are more likely to suffer obesity. I believe with women, it's almost like 100% likely to suffer obesity with the father being out of the house. That is very weird and very interesting at the same time. Kids are 2 times more likely to drop out of high school with a lack of a father in the house. 2 times more likely. Now, there are 57.6% of black children in single-parent homes without the biological father. Now, there's some gray area here because this says without the biological father. Obviously, that could be stepfathers and that can be boyfriends. But 57.6% of black children live in single-parent homes without biological fathers. That is a major, major issue. One issue because African Americans, we only support, or not support, we only have about 13% of the total population. I think we represent 13.6 or something, and Caucasians represent 60%. So we only represent 13.6%, and 57.6% of black children live in a one-parent home. That is not a great stat. Something has to be done about that. And we need to figure out what's going on. I know there's many different reasons why, but we'll talk about that in later videos. 31.2% of Hispanic children live in a single-parent home without a biological father, and 20.7% of white children live in a single-parent home without a biological father. Now, this is a lack of father's presence. 32% of black fathers rarely visit their kids. This could be a gray area as well. Whereas 11% of white fathers never visit their kids. So that's a major impact of being present in your kid's life. Now, there could be a divorce, but it's still very, very important to maintain that presence in your kid's life. All right. So Individuals from a father absent home were found to be 279% more likely to deal drugs, carry guns and deal drugs than their peers living with fathers. So there's some issues there that we need to look at. We need to see why. All right. Now, overall, in 1960, there was 8% of children living without fathers. And in recent studies, there's been about 24.4% of children living without fathers. What has happened? What has changed the family's dynamic? What has changed? Why is it went up 3 times as much in the last 60 to 50 years? So that's something that needs to be looked at. I'm pretty sure there's many reasons for that. We live in the 21st century. We live in a digital age. There's social media. There's air travel. People can travel. There's TV. There's infidelity. There's divorces are easier. There's all kind of things. Pornography. There's all kind of things that can separate the parents. All right. It's just the family is more non-stable nowadays. All right, some more stats. There's 63% of the youth, and this is in a fatherless home. 60% you're more likely to commit suicide. 90% of homeless, or 90% of all homeless and runaway youth lived in a fatherless house. 85% exhibit behavior disorders. 71% of all high school dropouts live in a fatherless home. 75% of adolescents, patients in substance abuse centers live without a father. 75% of rapists motivated by displaced anger lived in a fatherless home. So those are just some stats. There's many more stats, but the overall theme of being in a fatherless home is you are at a great disadvantage in life. There's something about that God put together. When a mother and a father put together, he gave the father the top responsibility of keeping the family together. And when the father neglects his role as being a father, the kids come up, I don't want to say messed up, but they come up angry. They come up malfunctioned, so to speak. So fatherhood is very, very important. Fathers, if you guys are listening, if you guys are looking at this, watching this, it's very important that you're in your son and daughter's life, because if you're not, it's not a matter of if, but it is a matter of when something's gonna be malfunctioning in their life. Wait for my dog, he's barking. All right, so something's going to be disproportionate in their life. Something's going to be dysfunctional in their life. So continue to listen here. So now let's give you God's perspective. In Ephesians 6:4, it says, "And you fathers, do not provoke your children to wrath, but bring them up in the training and admonition of the Lord." So what does that mean? So what does that mean to provoke? It's not mean just to always mess with you or something, temporarily make you angry or something like that. No. What does provoke mean? Well, I got 6 things that provoke can mean. It can mean a lot of other things too, but I just want you kind of just to think about this as I say it. So provoking your child could be always being angry around them. You're just always angry. You're just a mean person. Fathers, you don't have to be a mean to your daughters or to your sons. Discouragement. This is a big one. Do you discourage your kids? You're supposed to encourage them. The world around him is discouraging enough. You're supposed to be the one encouraging them and lifting them up. But it's sad because some say it's a cycle. Some fathers didn't have a father. They don't know how to encourage their kids because their father never encouraged them. So they bring them down. But you got to understand your words are very, very important. Your words can make or break somebody. And when your son needed to hear that, hey son, you can do it. You can do all that you can do. You can do it. Never give up. But he needed to hear that at 6, 7, or 8 years old. Now he's in life having issues, going to the next level. He is in life having issues, discovering who he is, finding out what he wants to be in this world. What you say is very, very, very important. It's extremely important. All right, next. So abusing your spouse. This is important too. When your kids see that, they internalize that, and that creates a bunch of anger. I mean, you're abusing their mother right in front of their face. All right, you can be verbally abusive. You can be physically abusive. It all matters. Everything you do and everything that you don't do matters in your kid's life. So your kid winds up angry in life. Angry 20 or 30 years later because you verbally abused their mother or physically abused their mother. That can really be a negative catalyst into their marriage or into their future relationships, whereas they don't trust anybody, or they do the same thing that you did. All right, so don't abuse people. Pray for people. If you're a Christian, pray for them. All right, if you're not, and if you have issues in your marriage, seek help, seek counseling, because when you're arguing in front of your kids, it's not a good thing. And the Bible says, where there's wrath, there's every evil thing. All right, so if you're arguing, you're fighting in front of your kids, all you're doing is letting the devil come right into your kids, giving them anxiety, giving them all kind of issues, low self-esteem and all that. So arguing is a part of marriage. Sometimes you got to argue to get through problems, but abuse, verbally and physically, that's not a part of marriage. All right, so seek help, get help, but don't do it in front of the kids. All right, it can make them dysfunctional. All right, so another one, fathers, putting your jobs above your kids. I'm going to the next one as well, but you're putting your jobs. It's important for us to work. God said we have to work. That's the curse. We got to work. All right, but putting too much into your job and being absentee to your kids, that's going to be a problem. That's neglect. I understand sometimes you're going to have to put more into your job than necessary, but you still need to take that time and spend some time with your kid. Sometimes that extra hour a week or extra 2 or 3 hours a week is more than what they need. But if you're always busy, always doing something, always typing on your computer, always on the phone, always making a business call, your kid's gonna internalize that. And when he gets older and when he's acting out and you don't know why he's acting out, why he has an attitude with you, why he doesn't listen to you, why he's doing things, why he's joining gang members, why he's having behavior issues in school, why his grades are not like that, it probably happened a long time ago when he is 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 trying to get his dad's attention, but his dad wasn't there. His dad was working, trying to create success for the family, and that's not a problem. Right? You want to reap what you sow and create gardens, so those gardens, so you can have a harvest in your family, but you can't neglect your kids doing that. You want to increase in life, but you don't want to neglect your kids doing that, because there will be issues that you have to face in the future. All right, so the next one is being there, but not being there. And that's kind of what we was just talking about. And a lot of families do that. This one right here is not just with the fathers, but it comes on the fathers. It comes on the responsibility of the father. You can't, and this is a lot. This is a major issue. And this is the epitome of fatherlessness. But the father is there. All right, so you can't. Don't ignore your kids. All right, be present with your kids. Even when a lot of fathers are in the house, but they show their kids no emotions. They rarely talk to them. They just come home, they work, they're tired, and they just grunt, I'm tired. He can kind of raise himself. They depend on the mothers to cook the food, make the bath water and everything, and they don't have a relationship with their kids. They don't have an ongoing relationship. They may every once in a while do something with their kid, go play baseball, but it's not consistent. That affects your kids, whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not. It's going to affect them later on in life. Everything that you do in this life, you are going to give an account of everything. Everything that you do and everything that you don't do. You reap everything that you sow in this life. Be not deceived, please. All right, so fathers, interaction is very, very important. All right, it's important for your sons and daughters' success in the future, in their marriages, in their relationships, how they compete at work and all that. It's what you set. It's what you teach them. All right, and if you're absentee but you're there, that's in the Bible. That's worse than the unbeliever. But because you're present in their life, you can evoke change. You can help your daughter. You can build their esteem, but you're not there. You're paying attention to your football games. You're paying attention to your job. You're going out drinking with your friends. You're neglecting your kids. And you're creating a spiral of dysfunction that's going to affect generations to come. Think about that and make a change today. Create a schedule. I'm gonna spend this time with my boy. I'm gonna spend this time with my daughter. We're gonna have like a little daddy-daughter day once a week or something, or once every 2 weeks. I need to spend time. I need to know what's going on in their life. It's very, very important. All right, and this is another one. This is another one that provokes your kids to anger. Is being completely absent in your kid's life, knowing that you have a kid, but you're completely absent. Maybe because you don't get along with your wife. With your ex-wife, your ex-girlfriend, or whatnot. Knowing you have a kid and you choose to be completely absent, that creates anger, and God is angry with you for doing that. He says it don't provoke your kids to anger, and that is one of the main things that provokes your kids to anger, and it creates a spiral of dysfunction in generations to come. Not being in your kid's life at all. That creates so many issues of neglect, of low self-esteem, of poverty. You've heard all the stats that I said. Choosing not to be in your kid's life, even though you know it, even if you're having issues, that is a major problem, and you will answer to God. You reap. I'm telling you reap what you sow in this life, and you will answer to God. If not in this life, the next life. I'm not saying you go to hell or anything like that. That's between God. That's what you do on earth, all that. But your kids are very, very important. All right. So don't be absent in their life, because it causes so many issues that you don't know. All right. Your kid a lot of these kids, or a lot of these adults now, they're in jail. They're in poverty. A lot of it is because the fathers were gone. And it's even worse if you know that you have kids, you work, but you chose not to take care of them. That's even worse. So it's a plea for fathers. If you know that you've been doing this, you know that you haven't been in your child's life, you know that you've been lazy, you've been neglectful, you don't like their mom, your kids don't like you, even if your kids don't like you because you've been absent for a couple of years, try your hardest to get back in there today. Try. Because the effects on your kids in the future are devastating. Go check it out for yourself. Go look at the stats. They're devastating to your kids. And you have a moral and a spiritual responsibility to take full responsibility. You have the responsibility to take care of your family, to keep your family intact, to raise your kids. Now, even if you're in a divorce, it's your responsibility to make sure your boys and your girls grow up. Make sure that they grow up functional. Make sure that you're there. Make sure that you care. Make sure that you provide for them. It is your responsibility. I know the mom, and I'm not taking away. There's fantastic, strong women out here who's raised some beautiful kids, strong kids who've done a lot of great things. But God left the family structure to the responsibility of the father. And a father being in a kid's life compared to a father not being in a kid's life is a dramatic difference. So even if you don't like the mother, even if you're divorced, starting today, even if your kids don't like you, try to be in your kids' life. Find out what they're doing. Find out who they're hanging with. Tell them that they're beautiful. Tell them that they mean something. Tell them that they should stay in school. Tell them that they should get a great job. Tell them that they should start a business. Encourage them as often as you can. Next. I just want to give some Bible verses of what it means to bring your kids up in the Lord. All right, so Proverbs 22:6, it says, train up your child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from the faith. So if you're a Christian, it's an obligation, train your kids in the way they should go. All right, teach them about God. Teach them how to pray. All right, teach them the importance of praying, the importance of reading their Bible. And if you teach them this, if you set a foundation, even if they sway off a little bit, they'll still come back. If you're a praying father, they'll come back. They won't depart from it. It's a foundation that you set. So it's very important that you teach from a young age. All right. So next one, Proverbs 29:15. The rod and reproof gives wisdom, but a child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. It's very important that you discipline your kids. This is even if you're in a divorce. Stay active in your family. And it's important that you discipline your kids, especially with your sons. All right, because you can't leave them alone. You can't let society take care of your sons, especially at a young age. You need to discipline your kids. You need to show them what it means to respect their elders. You need to show them what it means to live properly in society, so they can at a given point, so they can be ready for success. But you can't not discipline. You know what? I'm on this new age thing. I'm not going to discipline. I'm gonna kind of let them figure it out. No. Discipline your kids. I'm not saying beat them or anything. If they need to get a spanking or something like that, you can do that. I believe in that. But I don't believe in abuse. I don't believe in whooping your kids like crazy and not loving them. No, but I do believe in them getting a whooping. I don't believe in it excessively. But it's important that they learn discipline. It's important that they learn this, because everything that you do when they're young amplifies when they get older. I've noticed a lot of couples in America, this new age move, they don't want to whip their kids or anything like that. No, you whip your kids out of love, so that you can prepare them for their future. Not in an abusive way, abusive manner. All right, so the next one. But if any of you provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own home, he had denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. So that's serious to God. In God's eyes, you are worse than an unbeliever if you don't provide for your people, even in your own home. If you're not providing for your kids right, you're worse than an unbeliever. Even if you're in a divorce situation, or even if your girlfriend has your kids, but if you have money and you're not just providing for them, that's not a good thing. God sees that. All right, so guys, change it around. You can change it around. Pray to God and say, God, I'm sorry for what I've done. Let me be in my child's life now. Let me help his future, because you just being there automatically helps his future, his or her future. You just being there. You may not even know how to talk to your kids because you've been gone for so long for you, but you just being there helps their future. An angry son who's angry and you've been around for years, you just being there. He may give you hell for months, But you just being there, his anger is going to come down. Slowly, slowly. He's going to be able to forgive. And that's another big one. You know, kids who grew up in the fatherless home, that you're grown men now, you gotta forgive them. It's important. Jesus Christ forgave us of our sins. So we need to forgive people who's done us wrong of their sins. Forgiveness is so important. Unforgiveness can keep you from being healed. Unforgiveness can keep you from being delivered. Unforgiveness is a poison to your spirit, soul, and body. More so your soul and body. So forgive, even if it hurts. I know people in this world can hurt you. But learn to forgive and move forward. If your father died or anything, he was a bad father to you, get on your knees and pray tonight. Father, I forgive him. It's hard for everything he done, but I forgive him. And then you go on with your life and watch how God blesses you and you get them off your mind. You don't let anybody rent real estate in your mind, not even your own family. But you forgive your dad if he's still in your life. Forgive him and try your hardest to go see him and talk to him, because you're pulling burdens off of you. It'll change your life in ways that you don't even realize. You're like, my goodness, I'm not that mad at my wife anymore. My goodness, I can make friends now. I don't even know it's so subtle, but at the same time, so enormous. That's all I got today, guys. You guys have a blessed day out there.